Nowadays, it's not easy to be noticed on social media platforms. There is so much noise, but you can use a trick to stand out from that. You can market yourself or your brand with animated posts. It's not a magic trick or something, it's just pure nature. Motion enables specific parts of our brains. This happened from old ages when we used to follow the motion to feed or protect ourselves. We can take advantage of this and use it. Today, we're gonna take a look at how you can create an animated social media post step by step. If you are a beginner in motion graphics, this is for you. And if you already have won this animation Oscar, also you can check out the psychological design and animation tricks I use to attract more attention. I'm gonna create this post. It's really useful to promote your products or services. We need to set up a composition. I'm gonna click this icon right here and I'm gonna name this tutorial YouTube. About the resolution, I will go with 1080 1080. We need the square resolution for this one, and the frame rate can be 30. Perfect. And the duration, I think 6 seconds are okay for this, and I love to change the background to black. Hit OK, OK again, and we have a new composition. Now we need to add a background. For that, we can create a new solid. You can go with right click on the empty space, new solid, or use my lovely shortcut Ctrl or Command Y to create a new solid. I'm gonna name this background, and the color doesn't matter for now because I'm gonna use an effect. Hit OK, and we have a new background. I want to give to our background this gradient of the example, and I'm gonna go to the effects and presets and type ramp. I'm gonna drag and drop this ramp effect into the solid, and I'm gonna move the start point and the end point to create this diagonal gradient. The next step is to choose the right colors, but I want to be the same as the example. For that, I will go to the project and drag and drop the animated post composition into our comp. Then I'm gonna press S with the example selected, and I'm gonna scale this down. Then I'm gonna highlight again the background, go to the effects control, select the color picker of the black one and pick this top left point. And I'm gonna do the same with the white one. And I will delete now the example, and I'm gonna increase the ramp scatter, let's say around 200, to avoid this color banding, and I think it needs more. Let's go with 400. Now let's create this grid effect. I'm gonna create a new solid with Ctrl or Command and Y, and I'm gonna name this grid. Press enter. Now I'm gonna go again to effects and preset and type grid. And again, I'm gonna drag and drop the grid effect into our grid solid. Perfect. Now I want to increase a little bit the corners to hide these edge lines. And I'm gonna pick the darker color right here. Cool. I think we can reduce the opacity at 70%. It's cool. We need the circle to use it as a matte to the image. We can go with the ellipse tool, but let's try something else. I'm gonna right click on the empty space right here, go new, shape layer, and I'm gonna name this as matte. Then inside the shape layer, I will go with add ellipse, and one more, add a fill, because we need a fill effect to fill that ellipse shape. Then inside the ellipse path, I'm gonna increase this size. Let's say somewhere here is cool. Great. The next step is to add the photo into our comp, and this is a cool tip to go with. When you use an image with a face, you will attract more attention. For one main reason, we love to watch faces, and it's a fact, the first thing we notice in a frame is a human's face. So I'm gonna go to the project and drag and drop the image inside to our composition. I'm gonna highlight the image and press S to reveal the scale. I'm gonna scale down this one. I'm gonna pick the selection tool and move it around the composition. And again, I'm gonna highlight it, press T to reveal opacity, and reduce the opacity to find the right position. And somewhere here is good. I'm gonna increase again the opacity, move it below the matte, and I'm gonna set the matte as alpha. If you cannot see this section, you have to enable this middle icon right there. Then we need this stroke effect around the picture. I'm gonna duplicate with Ctrl or Command D the matte. I'm gonna name this as circle, unhide it, drag it below the image, press U twice to reveal the size, and I'm gonna increase that a little bit, and I will change the color to that orange we had in the example right here. Also, we have to create those two lines, and also there is a drop shadow between the circle and the two lines. So back to our composition, select the pen tool, set the fill as none, and the stroke around, let's say 5, and the color, I think I'm gonna go with this one, the new orange we have here. I'm gonna create one line with 2 clicks right here, maybe the stroke a little bit more. Great. Move it below the circle, name it as line 01, press Ctrl or Command D to duplicate it, pick the selection tool and move it somewhere here. Pretty cool. And I'm gonna select the circle, go to the effects and preset and type drop shadow. I'm gonna drag and drop this effect into our circle. Great. Now I'm gonna increase the distance, increase the softness, and maybe a little bit the opacity. Perfect. Now we need to add the titles, that they are the main message. So we have the photo to attract attention and we need the message. We will go with a simple method. We read from left to right, and on the top left corner we're gonna add the main message, our title, our services. On the bottom right is the call to action, what they have to do, and maybe we can add something more on the bottom left. I'm gonna select the text tool, click right here and type social media content services. And I will adjust a little bit this one. I'm gonna highlight everything with Ctrl and A and change the fonts. I will go with Knockout, I love this. Make everything caps, great. Increase the size, perfect. Set the paragraph on the left. Pick the selection tool, move it right here, and I think it's great. Then I'm gonna create another text. It will be a call to action and I'm gonna type link in the description. I'm gonna Ctrl A everything, choose Helvetica for this one I don't need to be so bold like the title. Go with a regular. Disable the all caps. Reduce the size. Great. And I'm gonna move it right here. And also we need another call to action of what they have to do. So I will go to our title, duplicate it, Control or Command D, move it on the right corner, set the align on the right side, perfect, and I'm gonna type here book a call, perfect, and I'm gonna move it somewhere here. And we need to emphasize this, that they have to book a call, and we're gonna do this with design and animation. Let's start from the design. I'm gonna pick the rectangle tool, set the stroke as none, and the opacity with this orange color. Then I'm gonna create here a shape, move it below our text. I'm gonna name this lower third, and it needs some adjustment here. Great. And inside the rectangle, I'm gonna go to the path and create some roundness. Perfect. Why do I use rounded shapes? Shapes reflect emotions, and you can imagine that a circle is cuter than a square. What I mean is that when you try to draw something cute, you go with rounded shapes. And this post is gonna take place on social media where things are, let's say, more soft. Now for animation, we're gonna follow the method as the design. Dynamic entrance of the photo to attract attention, and then reveal the message. Attention, message. Attention, message. Simple method. So let's start animating things. I'm gonna go down to the circle, highlight it, press S to reveal the scale, go to the first frame of the timeline, set the scale at 0, add a keyframe with this stopwatch here, move forward 20 frames and set the scale at 100%. Perfect. Now highlight both keyframes, press F9 to create an ease, go to the graph editor, and as we said, we need a dynamic entrance, so I will pick the right point of this graph and drag it on the left side, and then the left point a little bit more on the left side. And I'm gonna hide the image and press space for preview. Great. We need the same animation and for the outro, so I'm gonna highlight both keyframes, copy and paste them. Then I'm gonna right click on them, go keyframe assistant and time reverse keyframe, and it will create a reversed animation version of the intro. Now we can do the same thing and for the photo, and I'm gonna create this really quick. I'm gonna highlight the scale, copy this one, and I will paste this into the matte. And as you may see, it's gonna apply this only to the matte and not to the photo. So the next thing I do is to go around, let's say 3 seconds, and link this photo with the matte. But I need an offset on these two animations, so I'm gonna highlight the matte, press U to reveal the keyframes, select the first two, create, let's say, an offset somewhere here, and do the same for the background right here. Space for preview. Pretty cool. And we can go to the two lines, and this will be really easy. I'm gonna go to line 01 and add an effect. I'm gonna go to the add trim path, and I will set the end at 0, add a keyframe, move 20 frames forward, set this at 100%, perfect. Then highlight again, press F9 for easy ease, and we're gonna create the same curve as the first one. And in this case with the lines, I'm gonna create another outro, and I'm gonna use the start. So I will go around 5 seconds, go to the start, set a keyframe, and then move forward 20 frames and set the start at 100, perfect. Now I'm gonna highlight again everything, press F9, and this time the curve will be aligned on the right side, so drag them on the right side, like this, perfect. And let's see what we have created, perfect. And the outro, great. I think we can move these two keyframes a little bit on the right side to preview the entire animation. So I will apply the same effect into the line 02. I will go to the trim path and copy this one and paste it into the line 02. And as always, I need an offset, so I will press the U to reveal the keyframes and create an offset between those two lines, like this. Space for preview. Cool. And for the titles, I will use an animation tool I have created, the text flow. So I will go to the effects preset and type text flow. This is a free tool, you can find a link in the description, and it will save you a lot of time. So I will grab the text flow and drop it into our text, perfect. By default, it will animate only the opacity. So I will press space to reveal, and I think it's pretty cool. And the way we adjust the intro and the outro with the text flow is just by trimming the layer. So I will trim the layer right here, and for the outro somewhere here, and press space again. But I need this to be a little bit slower, so I will go to the global animation, and on the speed I will increase that by 1. And I will do the same for the speed out. Press space, and I will apply the same effect for the link in the description text. I will drag and drop the text flow right here, and I will leave it as it is. Now let's jump into this lower third, and for a reason we missed the rounded corner, so I will go again to the shape layer, and I'm gonna fix that in the rectangle path, increase roundness somewhere here. And the next thing is to link the text with the lower third, so I'm gonna use the whip to link those two, and I will go here to the shape layer, press P to reveal the position, create a keyframe, move forward 20 frames, create another one, go back to the first frame, and I'm gonna move this by holding the shift on the right side of the screen. Perfect. So now I'm gonna highlight those two, press F9 as previous, go to the graph editor and create almost the same curve. Press space for preview. Perfect. But we need to adjust a little bit the text position, so I'm gonna highlight the text and move it a little bit up right here. And also I need an animation out for that, so I will highlight again the keyframes, copy and paste them, and go again, keyframe assistant, time reverse keyframes. But it would be cool to have one more animation to the book and call. It's our main call to action and we need to emphasize this text more. So I will go to the book and call and drag and drop the text flow. As you said, the only thing that is animated is opacity, and I will go to opacity and set both in and out at 100%. There's no any kind of animation here. I will move the indicator more on the left side to have a better view, and I will set the position for both at 90. Great. I'm gonna press space for preview. Perfect. And I think we need to create a mask for this, so I will highlight the text, pick the rectangle tool, but now we're gonna use this as a mask. I create a mask right here on the bottom side of the lower third. Then I'm gonna press space for preview, and I think it's really cool. That's all guys, I hope that was helpful, and now you can create your own animated post. Don't forget to check the links in the description for some free and cool stuff. Thanks for watching and see you soon.
Candy Mustache. Build your story.